Good morning and welcome to Williams Dog Training Company. We're here today with Fred and Sage, and what we're going to be demonstrating today is Sage's ability to understand and respond to her obedience commands, the corrections and motivations that we give while we're working with her, and the training equipment that we're using. Fred is using a regular 6-foot training leash, and he's going to keep the bulk of that leash folded neatly in his right hand, leaving his left hand free to give the correction. And the correction that we give is a tug and release on the training collar, which is the second piece of equipment that we're using. You'll notice that Fred keeps that collar high up on her neck, right behind her ears for maximum control, and we will show you how to properly put that collar on and use it during your one-on-one lesson. Now, Sage is sitting very nicely on Fred's left-hand side, and that's where all of our obedience training takes place. The first command that they're going to demonstrate for you is heeling, and heeling is proper walking on a leash. Fred and Sage take off doing that now, and the command that you're going to give is Sage heel, and you're going to simply start walking, and Sage should then fall in line heeling appropriately on your left-hand side. This means she should be keeping pace with you whether you're walking at a faster pace or a slower pace, and she should not be lagging behind or lunging ahead and pulling on that leash. We've also incorporated an automatic sit, which you just saw, into our heeling exercise, and you'll see them throughout the video here. And what that means is anytime that you're out walking with Sage and you stop, she should sit nicely right there at your left heel position. The next command that they're going to demonstrate is the stay command, and it's a hand and voice command. Use the open flat of your left palm in front of her muzzle, and the one-word command to stay, and walk out to the end of your training leash. Sage should remain seated in this position and should not break, and this is a command that you're going to want to practice very often with her throughout the day to help build up her ability to sit and stay for longer periods of time. When you are practicing at home, you'll start at about 30 seconds, and upon her continued success, you'll increase your intervals, working up to a total of 3 minutes for her long sit-stay. When Fred returns back, he's going to walk all the way around and behind in a counterclockwise motion, returning so that Sage is directly on his left-hand side once again in heel position. And they'll go through their heel sit and stay for you again. You'll also notice throughout the video that Fred uses both positive reinforcement and physical reinforcement, positive reinforcement, both verbal and physical.
Stay.
Telling her she's a good girl and giving her little pets on the head. It's important to make it fun and motivating for her to work through her commands. Now Fred gives her a moment to hold her sit-stay, and they're going to demonstrate the recall or the come on command this time. Call Sage in using her name, where she should get up and come in and sit directly in front of you. Very nicely done. Get some praise. We have an exercise called the finish, where she returns to heel position by returning around the right side of you, around the back of you, and sitting nicely on your left-hand side, and they'll demonstrate that again. Leave her in a sit-stay out to the end of the leash. Give her a moment to hold it. Then call her in using her name, where she should come in and sit directly in front of you. It's important that she sits in front of you. It's to prevent the inappropriate behavior of her jumping up. Then around the right side, the back, returning to left-hand side, sitting nicely. Good girl. So if any time you're working Sage to her commands and she does not complete them, or she demonstrates an unwanted behavior, you're going to tell her no in a nice firm voice, followed by a tug and release on that correction collar, and you repeat the command. Now the next command that they're going to demonstrate for you is the first of our down commands, and this one is the down from a heel position. You're going to use the open flat of your left palm again, this time straight down towards the ground, the one-word command to down, and then give the stay command and walk out to the end of your leash. This is a command that you're going to also want to practice often with Sage to help build up the ability to down stay for longer periods of time. And of course, she should remain laying down in this position and should not break. And again, start at 30 seconds, increase your intervals over time, working up to a total of 5 minutes for your long down stay. So 3 minutes for your sit stay and 5 minutes for your down stay. And Fred's walking all the way around again, counterclockwise.
Sage.
Good job. They will demonstrate that again for you. And this is an important time to remind you that although you're going to be using and incorporating all of your commands into your everyday activities and schedule, you want to make sure that you're setting aside about 10 to 15 minutes every day to work Sage through her commands in a formal obedience training session such as this video here. It's great practice for the both of you and will help with the transition.
No.
See, she broke her command and the first words out of Fred's mouth are no. He goes back to heel position and repeats the command. Great example of correction there. I'll give her a moment to hold it, and then they're going to go ahead and demonstrate the recall command from the down position.
Sage, come.
She gets up, comes in. Good girl.
Sage.
Sits nicely around the back. So as I was saying, do make sure that you are setting aside 10 to 15 minutes to practice her commands with her every day in a training session, amongst incorporating your commands into your everyday activities. So Fred and Sage are setting up for the second of our down commands, and it's down from a distance. Leave Sage in a sit-stay. Walk out to the end of your leash, and from the end of the leash, use your right hand to give Sage the down command, where she should drop into a down directly where she is sitting. Very well done. Good girl, she gets some praise. Now what Fred and Sage are demonstrating for you is the very beginnings of advanced off-leash training, the intermediate stages. All Fred did was drop his leash, give the stay command, and increased his distance a very small amount for both his sit stay and his down stay. This is something that you will be able to work on in the future with Sage if you're very diligent and consistent with her on-leash training. Once you feel comfortable that she is completing all of her commands for you and obeying you 100% of the time with the leash and collar, you'll be able to work up to this kind of training with her. We've demonstrated for you today all the obedience commands that Sage has learned here at school. It's been a pleasure working with Sage. We do ask that you keep us posted on her progress back at home. And thank you again for choosing Williams Dog Training Company as your personal dog trainer.